Welcome back to the Myth series in depth. In this video I'll be playing the mission The Last Battle, which is ironically the second to last mission in the game. I will also be covering another comic from the Tales of Myth titled Antero's Bestiary. I didn't cover this comic before because it holds some spoilers that are not yet revealed until the journal for this mission. Here's the journal for this mission to get things started.
Tuesday, July 21st, the Fortress. Ulrich's plan is a mad one. One of the many strange things we found while trapped inside the Tane was the shredded battle standard of that long-dead race of evil creatures called the Myricridia. I thought that we had left it behind, but someone must have climbed that horrible pile of skulls and brought it out with them when we escaped. The Myricridia were the most vicious servants of the Dark in another time, now long past, and Balor himself imprisoned them within the Tane. Or at least that's what Ulrich says. I'd always heard that the Myricridia were hunted to extinction by Connaught, the great hero of the Wind Age. Ulrich says Connaught and Balor are two different names for the same person. I think 4 months in the desert addled his mind. How could the greatest hero of the Wind Age, the king of Mjolnir during its golden age, become the greatest evil of our time? Ulrich intends to approach within 100 yards of the fortress and raise the Myricridian standard. Because of Balor's old enmity toward the Myricridia, Ulrich is certain that this will so enrage Balor that he will come to deal with us himself. All we have to do is plant the standard and wait.
In the journal, Ulrich reveals that Balor is in fact Connaught. I purposely didn't mention this because I didn't want to give spoilers, even though all of you probably already knew this. Not to mention, he was the last one to defeat the Leveler, and so the next Leveler comes back as the hero, which would be Connaught. So if this is your first time playing Myth and you watch the whole series, you probably already figured it out, but still, I tried to leave the spoilers out of here. I think of the Leveler Balor as Connaught, but with some sort of powerful evil spirit inside of him. The game never calls the Leveler a spirit, but it seems to fit well. Now, it would make sense that Balor hates the Myricridia, considering that he is Connaught, who is the one that defeated the Myricridia and trapped them inside the Tane. The journal reveals that a Myricridia battle standard was recovered from the Legion's journeys within the Tane, where Soulblighter had imprisoned them. The journal for the mission, The Smiths of Mjolnir, mentioned a battle standard that was on top of and center of a platform of humanoid skulls. Seems that someone had grabbed it. Now, Ulrich was not inside the Tane. In fact, the game doesn't tell us where he was between the missions out of the barrier, where we freed him from captivity, and the road north, where we were proceeding north after escaping the Tane and heading for Balor. All we know is that he wasn't with the Legion that the game follows. For this reason, we know it wasn't Ulrich's idea to take the Myricridian battle standard, but it is his idea to use it against Balor. There is a journal image on the disc, not included in the game, that shows 4 Berserks raising the battle standard with Balor's fortress in the background. The journal narrator thinks that Ulrich is crazy about Balor being Connaught, and that he is crazy about his plan to defeat Balor. With the knowledge that we have about Balor, we know that this crazy plan is actually pretty solid and could work. Connaught was a bit more of the uncivilized sort, and when it came to battle against the Myricridia, he was eager for battle, a bit ruthless you could say. That should help put things in a better perspective for you for understanding the story. Now, the journal doesn't reveal yet what item Ulrich had brought to him and how he will defeat Balor once Balor is drawn out. And this is a secret that will come from playing the mission and the journal for the next mission. Now let's jump into the mission. We will cover the comic from the Tales of Myth afterwards. Lead your reinforcements to Ulrich and the other survivors of the previous battle. Then follow Ulrich and wait for a chance to kill Balor. So here we start in the pools of iron.
Sir?
That explosion we heard is just I think that's just some body parts in the mission. So there's going to be one archer up, or one fetch up here, one up and left, one kind of to the left, one down the left, and one down. So in Myth 2, The Broken Cycle, the AI on these fetch are kind of broken. So you can rush them all with one berserk each way and kill them. Sometimes they'll zap you and might kill one. That's alright. It's not a big deal. Now you can shoot them with your fetch, which should be absolutely no problem considering I have veteran archers. So they should absolutely destroy them. If you're playing this mission and you don't have veteran archers, you might have a chance that they'll get up close and shoot one of them. But you should have a pretty good success rate. I felt like the archers in Myth 2, the Broken Cycle with Virgin TFL on, are without veterancy, you know, they're just brand new, had a lower success rate than in the original Myth, the Fallen Lords, when I was practicing. I don't know if this was just chance or if this is fact. I have no idea. So, now, if you don't kind of come near him, this one of these fetches up here will kind of go and kill some units that we'll get later. So, we're actually going to do this by pushing up to try to keep that from happening. So, we're going to lead with our vet, or our Furbolg. Usually this fetch down here comes first, but we'll just have to be careful to make sure that we don't get shot in the back. And the annoying thing is, because these red dots are so small, you really can't always see the units coming on the map, which is really annoying, because you got red on red, and it's like this little red dot. Like, here's that red dot. It's kind of unfortunate. See, I don't see any fetch coming behind me yet. With these veteran archers, they shouldn't have a problem. So I'm not really too worried about getting them lined up right.
That was mine. I'm moving.
See, is this fetch coming up behind me yet? Nope.
Let's go.
Okay, we'll just keep pushing this way. There'll be another fetch up here. There he is.
I'm moving.
Any fetch coming behind me? Nope. So we'll kill this guy up here. He hasn't even... His AI, I don't even think has loaded yet, so he's not moving.
Yeah.
Kind of checking my surroundings just in case one of them comes. So yeah, see, he's running away. His AI hasn't even loaded yet, really.
Let's go.
I don't want him to shoot these guys up here. So this is, we got some reinforcements up here. Oh, there, now he's chasing us.
Stand clear. Got him.
There we go. Let's quickly turn and shoot this guy.
Hey, move it. Hey, move it.
Don't let him come and hit us. And there's 5 of them. Here's the last one up here.
Hey.
See, they almost, with the veteran, see, they almost are hitting every time. So, okay.
Over here. I'm moving.
Now, okay, before we get on to this next part of the mission, which we're gonna kind of come.
Over here.
There's this Myrmidon that doesn't really do anything. But if you come up here, you're going to get these units. Here's Ulrich. Here's a Macridian standard that the Legion has put up. Let's kill this Myrmidon real quick. He kind of just runs away. I really don't know the point of him because...
Let's go.
Whatever.
Here. I'm moving.
Before we advance, though, if you kind of look down here, there's another temple or shrines. You know, I'm not sure if these are supposed to be pillars for a temple or these are actually shrines. Because if you look at the Antero's Bestiary pictures that you'll see, these could be just shrines and things too, Nix. And so, I'm not sure which one there are. I mean, it kind of looks like there was a temple here, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm moving. Yeah. I'm moving.
and then if you come up here...
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Alright, we'll see this more, but here's the edge of Balor's fortress. Now, if you look at this mission, actually the map, compared to the in-game like journal, right? There's like the map on the journal, right? This would be the back of his fortress. The top of the fortress would be up on the other side, right? This would be the left side of the fortress. We're kind of going along, and so all the big battle is up here somewhere, like somewhere up there off the map, right? Just to kind of give you a perspective. All right, so we're gonna get ready for this next part. So there's gonna be a confrontation. All right, a bunch of soldiers come down. Ulrich is over here, by the way. There's gonna be a confrontation with Balor coming down. We'll watch that dialogue in a second. But I'm gonna show you. You can actually rush him and kill Balor before he even gets here. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to do that. Oh, by the way, like this mission, we're gonna completely break the AI. Like,
hurry, let's go. Balor is on his way.
So we're gonna group all these guys, all the berserks, and we're gonna rush Balor.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm moving. I'm moving. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, so Balor is coming.
Let's go.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spread out, because he's fast. He's kind of hard to stop.
I'm moving. Yeah.
So we want to get him.
Do it. I'm moving.
We're trying to get him like to go in between. There. Okay, let's try again. So I'm trying to get him trapped.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm moving. Hurry! Balor is on his way. Let's go.
Let's try this again. So I really want to get him trapped in between my berserks so he can't move.
I'm moving. Over here.
This is actually a lot easier to do in the Broken Cycle than in the original Myth the Fallen Lords.
Over here. Let's go. Yes. I'm moving. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. We'll do it.
He actually fought back. Normally he doesn't. It must have been like right where he was. Normally he doesn't fight back. Okay.
Over here.
Let's try it again.
Hurry! Balor is on his way.
Maybe I'll edit this out and just put in the time where I am successful.
Yeah. Over here. I'm moving. Let's go. Let's go. I'm moving. I'm moving. Yeah. We'll do it.
There you go, got stuck. So he won't fight back. If you're on Myth the Fallen Lords, he will fight back. He'll stop and start fighting you instead of continuing to walk forward. Now, you can still kill him. He'll start attacking you with his sword. You can still kill him. So there's a difference, but you can kill him. You'll have a few berserks, maybe 1 or 3 or so left on Legendary. But, you know, there he is. You hear that kind of like warping sound. Now, so that's supposed to cue on his death. You'll see at the end of the mission why that's there. So all these units aren't loaded, so you can just run and kill them. They'll actually fight back once you start fighting them. But if you do this, you know, all these AI isn't loaded. The AI isn't loaded over here either. So the level's completely broken at this point. You can't win the mission if you do this. In order to beat this mission, this dialogue has to occur. So we're gonna redo it with that dialogue. Now, what we're gonna do is let's go to the last save. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these berserks and we're gonna rush them over here because you saw those 4 fetch up here. They're gonna come down, but we can kill them. You know, get some free kills, so we don't have to worry about them. So let's get our units up here, and then we're also gonna do another trick. You know, there's a lot of AI tricks in this game. Okay, so let's put these on 4. So now, if you're within a certain distance of Balor, you kind of shoot some like lightning at you. Kind of like that lightning we saw when I messed up that one time where he kind of shot lightning. So let's if you want to do something funny and you're not afraid of getting no units, you can send like one berserk up to each of these groups, and like as soon as Balor comes down, he'll zap lightning and it pretty much will kill your like, you know, 4, 5, 6 berserks and kill his entire own army too. So it's pretty ridiculous. So you want to get these guys, you know, far away so Balor won't shoot them. Okay, so let's watch this dialogue.
Get back!
You want to?
Where did you find that accursed thing, Alric? And what madness made you raise it here?
As a lesson in humility, Balor.
Then I have a lesson for you as well.
Here they come!
So I think I forgot to mention this was the Mercurius standard that was standing here. So he comes down and destroys it. That's what brought him out of his fortress, as we talked about. There's Balor. Hey, Balor. Alright, and here all these units are coming. So we want to get up here and get ready to fight. You could be shooting these. I probably should have done this. The Myrmidons are really the only threat.
Over here!
So we're going to bring these berserks up here. Some of these strategies I'm doing work better in the Broken Cycle than Myth the Fallen Lords. Or, I said the Broken Cycle. I mean Myth the Fallen Levels. Why am I saying the Broken Cycle? That's what I mean. I'm sorry. My mind is going crazy. I'm just like getting over a cold, so that's my excuse for being a complete moron. Okay, so Aldrich comes down here. So we don't want him to queue the next part of the map, and I'll show you why. So we're gonna put these units right here.
Yeah, I'm moving.
Get him! Step aside. Stand clear. Money. Oh yeah. Hey. Money.
So okay, see, I got these to the fetch. So when the fetch start coming, I can just hit them in the back.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'd have to kill them with my Furbolg, which wouldn't be hard considering they're upgraded, but you can just cheese them this way. So kind of watch these dots when they start moving.
Hey.
And then you got to be careful when these Myrmidons start running forward. They're really the only threat. Okay, so these guys are coming down now. Let's save it right here real quick. Okay, so let's kind of send one at each one. And their AI is set to, you know, rush down. So they really won't attack these berserks. They might turn and shoot them, sometimes they do. Especially on Myth the Fallen Lords, they seem to do that more. But
That was mine.
so you see, they're not really responding to them because their AI is set to just come down. Okay, some of these berserks have run back, or these Myrmidons, so we'll just kind of let them chase us around. Sometimes they do that, depending on where you're at. But we'll just kind of run around with them and bait them around and lead them back here. Let's make sure our berserks are in good position. Okay, that's good. Okay, keeping an eye on everything, making sure we're good.
Let's go! Let's go! Over!
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm moving. I'm moving.
Now I'm not going for no hits, otherwise, you know.
Step aside.
Yeah.
Look out.
I'm moving.
Oh, yeah.
Probably should just turn on
We'll
them
do
now.
it.
Oh, yeah.
This guy got hurt. Oh well, it's not a big deal. Okay, as soon as that ends, Ulrich's gonna try to go forward, but we have him trapped, so he can't get out. So he's trying to go to the next dialogue part. So let's save real quick. So like, basically, because we got him trapped, all these guys up here will spawn in. Now, if we get too close to Balor here, he'll fight us. So, because the AI is unloaded, we can shoot all these guys.
Step aside.
You know, they won't
Got
respond.
'em.
So yeah, so let's just, you know, let's shoot him real quick.
Money. Got him. Money. Money. That was mine. Money.
No big
That was
deal.
mine. Yes. Money. 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 Yes. Money. Got him.
Another thing you can do is put 4 berserks back here, or however many you want. And once this battle starts, as soon as Balor starts moving back, you'll no longer zap your guys, and you can just rush the fetch. Because the fetch go this way and this way when they first start. They are set to move and they won't fight back. You just rush them in the back and kill the fetch. It's kind of hilarious how broken the AI is in this level.
That was mine. Got him.
So I'm not worried about the Myrmidons because
Yes. Money. Hey, that was mine. Yes. Got him.
alright, we'll just kill these guys real quick. So all these guys,
Got him.
after we talk to Balor, all these guys would attack us.
Yes.
And if you want to see me like
Money.
play this level like legitly with no casualties without like taking advantage of the AI or anything, you could watch. I've done that with on my other playthrough with no commentary, so that's already available. And you see the side of the fortress. Now,
Got him.
there's a bunch of fetch here that we have to deal with later in the mission,
Hey,
and we're just gonna kill them all now.
side.
So this mission is just completely broken at this point.
Money. That was mine. Money. That was mine. Stand clear. Money. That was mine.
Alright, hurry up and get this over with, so
Yes. That
we
was
can continue
mine.
with the mission.
Got him. That was mine. Got him. Money.
Now, if you are playing this, like,
That was mine.
well, I guess I'll tell you when we get to this part of the mission.
Yes.
I won't,
Money. That was mine.
what is, like, if you're playing this legit, what strategy I would use to beat this part.
Money. 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 Got him.
Or some strategies.
Hey, got him.
Okay, so that's that part of the mission. We can just leave our archers up here. Okay, so we're gonna let Ulrich go free,
Over here.
and then he's gonna go talk to Balor.
Over here.
Alright, let's go have your conversations. Your conversation with Balor.
The rest of your legion has been destroyed, Alric. What more can you do with this handful of men?
So Ulrich's telling us, or Balor's telling us that we don't have hardly any units left. So, Anyway,
here.
so
I'm
now,
moving. I'm moving. Let's go.
so if you played this legit, one side of the thrall and fetch will attack you one at a time. So you can just kind of, Ulrich will come back here. You can kind of sit up on this little hill right here and kill him, kind of like the same way you do here, like in this battle I did. Really, if you didn't kill those fetch early too, you can just, if you don't want to take advantage of that, take advantage of the AI, you can have your fetch here, or your archers here, and then as soon as the fetch come up, just have them target the fetch and let your doors kill the thrall. And if they have to run back too far to stay away from the fetch, or because the thrall pushing you, you can take some of the berserks and finish them off while the archers are taking out the fetch. So not too bad, not too difficult either. Now,
Over here.
if you're, what I would recommend, if you're at this point and Ulrich's coming up here, well, so what would normally happen, I already killed them all, is Ulrich's going to come up here, he's going to pause here for a little bit, and he's going to come down to confront Ulrich, or to confront Balor. And so he's going to stand right here, and all these fetch are going to come down all around the side, and they're going to zap him. And you need to like kill him as fast as you can before the fetch kill him. So these myrmidons are going to rush down afterwards too, so after you kill all the fetch. And so if you send just your berserks at these fetch, you know, they're going to eventually start shooting back at the berserk, and you'll get some casualties. So what I'd recommend is, like, after you beat this part, send your archers up here as fast as you can and start shooting at these fetch. And then once you get them, send your berserks, or not all your berserks, like say all but 4 up here, and start killing all these myrmidons with your berserk. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're saving yourself from the myrmidons in the past. And then you keep pushing your archers around this way. Now these 4 berserk send through and start hitting the fetch. Once you get down to like 6 or so fetch, try to get a berserk close to all the fetch simultaneously before the fetch will turn on you, because once they get down to like 4 or something, they'll start turning on your units rather than just zapping Ulrich. So get a berserk near them all, you know, try to key them to attack, and try to hit some of the middle ones with your, or if you have like some arch fetch here, here, and here, you can even set your archers to shoot the ones in the middle first, so that they're out of range to zap the berserks, and then have your, you know, archers finish them off, then the ones over here, and then they'll never be within range of your berserks when they turn on you. So that's another way to do it. And then when the myrmidons come down, you can probably just kill them with your, it's probably easiest just to kill them with your berserks rather than actually try to use your doors, because you have to get your doors down here, and then you have to get them outside of this, you know, pool, because they can't blow it up here. All the myrmidons are going to try to attack Ulrich. If you attack them with berserks, obviously they'll attack you, but you know, if you did like I said and you have your berserks coming around, there's really not going to be very many myrmidon left. So that's how I would approach it. But you know, we skipped that whole part of the level. I actually did a less good strategy on my playthrough with no commentary. Oh yeah, and I forgot, you know, before Ulrich gets down here, he's gonna zap you. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna zap through
What
this.
more can you do with this handful of men?
We must follow him. Let's go.
Anyways, so I think you get the idea for the strategy on this mission. Let's save that real quick, just in case I accidentally get too close. So we're just gonna wait here until Ulrich goes forward. He's gonna pause here for a minute. Come on. Did he break? Yeah, let's have. So he's skipping that part where he stops down here in the middle.
Join me or die, Ulrich. You cannot hope to win this battle.
I do not need to win.
So normally, this is kind of different, but normally he'll start coming down from over here. But because we kind of skipped a part of the mission, he didn't like disappear and then come back, you know what I mean? You just start attacking him. So normally after you kill everybody down here, you can kind of rush your berserks up on the side. He'll kind of zap Ulrich like up here somewhere, and then you can even start hitting him when he's coming down. So now Ulrich is using his Elbe Stone. If you look at him, there's a timer here. So you have to kill him before this timer runs out. You can't do it with dwarves. You can't do it with your archers. You gotta use a berserk. That's the only way to kill him fast. And so this timer I don't think exists in Myth of Fallen Lords. Only this program. So you hear that teleport? That's why when we killed him earlier there was that warp sound. Because Ulrich warps everybody out. Now all these Myrmidons are coming. Ulrich! Ulrich! You better get out of there, Ulrich! So you can see this is the front battle. So these guys probably came from the front battle to help Balor. So most of the kills with our archers and dwarves and berserks. If we played it legit, we would have got more kills with our berserks. But the victory screen shows Ulrich holding up Balor's head in his left hand and holding Balor's helmet in his right hand. Balor's decapitated body is at his feet. Only 100 soldiers went through the World Knot, so I would expect that almost all the soldiers who survived the battle are included in this picture. The last screen shows Myrmidons leading the remaining imprisoned soldiers from the Legion to Balor. One of the berserks is beneath Balor's foot. Perhaps Balor is killing the prisoners, or perhaps he is bringing them into his servitude. He may be adding them to his army either willingly as soulless or unwillingly as thrall. Maybe he even has some other uses for them. In the mission, Ulrich pulled out an Eblis stone from his cloak to freeze Balor long enough to defeat him. This is the item that was delivered to Ulrich from the berserk in the journal for the mission River of Blood. We know only a few things about the Eblis stones. The TFL manual tells us that there are 5 of them and that they were known and sought by Connacht. The manual also tells us that Connacht either destroyed or secreted them for centuries. This means that Connacht must have not been able to destroy the Eblis stones and secreted them, and Ulrich somehow discovered where one of them was and recovered it. Perhaps he discovered its whereabouts by chance when he was imprisoned by the Deceiver. Another possibility is that the head revealed to him its location. Either way, the Legion wouldn't have been able to succeed without discovering this item of power. In the mission, you will notice that there are a couple of color sets for the Thrall's armor. One of them looks more rugged, and the other looks closer to white or silver. Perhaps the silver armor signifies a special group of Thrall that are part of Balor's personal army. At the second confrontation, Balor causes heads and other body parts to rain down to signify that the Legion has dwindled down to almost nothing. If you look at the platform that Balor is standing on, there is some Latin text there that reads, This is Latin for let them hate so long as they fear. I think that Bungie is signifying that the leveler's power is through fear and not through his subjects liking him. In the original Myth of Fallen Lords, Ulrich will start raising his hands to use a dispersal dream on the Myrmidons right as the mission ends. Now that we got this mission covered, I want to go over the comic Antero's Bestiary from the Tales from Myth comics. I will read it first and then go over some of the highlights. Antero's Bestiary by Robert McLeese. Thus Antero said to me, even if for Gaul's work, some amount of speculation must have been necessary to complete certain entries. But now, because of this terrible war, the beasts of myth walk the land once more. And so it came to pass that my master petitioned the trout for my safe passage in their lands, that I might observe their natures and record their habits. When Covenant fell and the great university burned, we lost countless generations of accumulated knowledge. Chief amongst the loss was the last surviving copy of Forgal's Bestiary. But Antero, my master and the greatest scholar of our day, did not despair as others did. He saw great opportunity in this tragic event. Thus Antero said unto me, and to what few of his other peoples that still lived, even in for Gaul's work, some amount of speculation must have been necessary to complete certain entries. But now, because of the terrible war, the beasts of myth walked the land once more. And so it came to pass that my master petitioned the trial for my safe passage in the lands, that I might observe their natures and record their habits for Antero's Bestiary. Is man to have an entry as well? The tone of his voice left no doubt in my mind as to how I should answer. I made a note to suggest its inclusion on my return home. These have been Acerus Malum Magnus's first words since I handed him Antero's petition nearly a month ago at the very fringes of the northern holding at the start of my journey through these trow-haunted lands. To know the history of the trow is to know the history of the world. At the dawn of time, Nyx molded us out of stone and clay. During that age, it seemed that a new race would crawl up out of the ocean, burrow out of the mountain, or fall from the sky every 1,000 years or so. But it always came to the same end. They would come into conflict with us, and we would crush them. Even the Kaliak, the most fearsome race from a time now unknowable to all but us, came the final ruin at our hand. Then, after an aeon of peace, the younger races began to appear. During that age, man was a simple beast, hardly worthy of notice. But his older cousins, the ogres, knew something of the walking world and called us a race of consorts. There was no denying it. Every edifice, every shrine, every monument we erected, we did so for the love of Nyx. And, as all fools potentially do, we placed ourselves above these lesser races, enslaving those we found useful and killing and eating the rest. The ogres resisted us, tooth and nail, but we had a very powerful ally. And once iron had tasted blood, it became insatiable. And we became tyrants worthy of the mantle of the leveler, even during the periods that your people called their golden ages. But after 12 centuries of slavery, the ogres rebelled. And blinded by hatred, we could not suffer them their freedom. The war lasted for 30 years and was fraught with unconscionable acts of wholesome slaughter. Their towns and villages were razed, the women and children put to the torch, and our cities thrown down. It all culminated in a single battle. The Battle of the Valley of the Red Seal was a solid month of fighting, and it resulted in the extinction of their race. We left the field of battle disgusted by our own actions, and erected no monuments to our victory. We abandoned Iron and his kin, leaving them to the younger, less wise races. Connacht and his lieutenants fell on us in our moment of weakness, but showed us mercy. Instead of returning us to the One Dream, he entombed us in the vaults beneath Rhiannon. Then he finished the job that the ogres had started, virtually erasing all evidence of our culture. And it came to pass that Connacht returned and freed us from our prison tombs. What? How can you hope to understand our history if you did not know your own? And even though we recognized that he wore the mantle of the leveler, we owed him our existence, so we became allies. And so, countless more dead were added to our already ponderous ledger. And if it were not for Balor's insistence that we stay behind and defend the western approach to the fortress of Rhiannon, Sic semper tyrannis. My host seemed rather tense, so I halted our interview for the day. Many questions still unanswered. Chiefly, why had he not spoken of the Mercuridia? According to what I remember of Forgal's text, the Mercuridia were active during the golden age of the Trow, and both had come into conflict with Connacht. Perhaps tomorrow, if my host has regained his calm, I will approach the subject. Ewan. I talked previously about the statue at Covenant in the mission Homecoming, likely representing Forgal and his Bestiary. Because the Trow had been entrapped with no access for this recent history, humans would not have been able to put them into the Bestiary until Balor had released them. This comic occurs sometime after the end of the Great War. We still have one more mission remaining, but this comic fits well here because it has a lot to do with Balor, Connacht, and the Trow. The Trow reveals to the young pupil, Ewan, the history of the world and the Trow's many conflicts. I covered the history of the Trow in my first video, so I won't repeat too much here. The Trow calls the Ogre the older cousins of the human, so you would think that they would look something like the humans. If you look at the battle images in the comic with the Ogres, they sort of look like giant humans. The Ogre were killed off by the Trow, and the Trow feel bad about it and left their iron because of it. The Tales from Myth comic says that the war lasted 30 years. If you look at the dates in Myth 3, they actually made a mistake because the battle does not last 30 years in Myth 3 The Wolf Age, which is a conflict in that game, although not a very big deal. The Trow in their moment of weakness were entombed by Connacht, who they view as sparing them. Since the Trow failed to spare the Ogre and were yet spared by Connacht, they view Connacht with a lot of respect. The young pupil did not know that Connacht and Balor were one and the same, so he is shocked when the Trow says that Connacht returned to free them. Only this time, he wasn't really Connacht, but was the leveler Balor. This is why the Trow were willing to fight along his side. The image that shows the Trow surrounding Balor's dead body says Sic Semper Tyrannis, which is Latin for thus always to tyrants. It means that bad outcomes will or should come to tyrants. Supposedly, a senator said this at the death of Julius Caesar. Whether that is the case or not, it seems to be the origination of the phrase. It is the state motto for Virginia. It can signify that we should do everything possible to remove a tyrant from office. The Trow is silent after revealing the truth about the Trow following the Leveler. This is perhaps because the Trow are regretful for the actions. They were conflicted about following Balor after all. The pupil is right about the Mercuridia being active during the Golden Age or the Wind Age. The Mercuridia were brought to death as the Golden Age started. Connacht brought about victory over the Mercuridia and the Leveler and became king of Myrthemne, starting their Golden Age. The Mercuridia were active in the Wind Age, and the Trow and Mercuridia both served the Leveler Mulligan. It is unlikely that the Trow liked the Mercuridia even though they served alongside them. I don't remember fighting both the Trow and Mercuridia simultaneously in Myth 3 The Wolf Age, but I haven't played that game a lot, so we will see about that one when we get there. Well, that is it for this video. See you next time in The Great Devoid.